Hey guys, it's Will with Will's Bug Room. I'm up here in northern Michigan, specifically Presque Isle County on the shores of Lake Huron. And I've found some really cool plants that I want to show you guys today. So if we pan down here and zoom in, this guy right here is the Lake Huron Dune Tansy. Tanicum bipinnatum species huronensis. And it's called bipinnatum because it has these pinnate leaves. So you got the main stem of the leaf that comes out here once, and it splits off into these little leaflets. And then these little leaflets split off again into even more little leaflets. Bi meaning two, pinnatum meaning pinnate, shape of the leaf. Now I'm actually on some private beach property near my uncle's place. And when I first came up here 2 years ago, this entire stretch of beach right here was practically just barren. There was no life, there was no nothing. But if you look out that way, you can see a little bit of like sedges. My wife's right there in the corner. Even got some, what I think is Ornithera. I want to say the species name is biannuum, which that in and of itself is a really interesting plant that we should probably go take a look at. Alright, so this right here is Ornithera biannuum, I believe it is. Definitely in the genus Ornithera, but it's a really interesting genus of plant and a really interesting family. And one of the things that makes it so interesting is this flower structure right here. You got what's left of the actually these might just be about to like start flowering tonight. But you got what most people think is the flower right here, and then you got this long cylindrical tube that you would think goes all the way down into the stem. But if you look really closely, right there where it goes from yellow to purplish to green, that green area right where it meets the stem is actually the ovary. And this tube right here is a series of fused petals that meets at the end, and then they separate out, forming the flower. Now, I first saw this genus of plant when I was going through college. I was taking a systematic botany class, and we had to use the Michigan Flora dichotomous key to key this thing out to at least genus, if I remember right. And I kind of fell in love with this genus of plant ever since. And the genus Ornithera has some really cool members kind of all throughout the US. There's a really cool like sprawling species that you find in like the sandy habitats of Florida. And then the family itself is actually really interesting. Enchanter's Nightshade is another member of that family. Really interesting onograceous flowering plant. And then you can actually see down here, these are the ovaries that got fertilized. So come like September, October-ish, these guys are gonna turn brown. They're gonna split kind of like down these seam lines right here. And they're going to release seed by just shaking in the wind over the course of the fall and the winter. All right, and here is the good stuff. This is the Lake Huron Dune Tansy, and it is flowering. Now, the tansies are in the aster family, so they're the same family as sunflowers. And to the uninitiated, this would just be a singular flower, but if you look really closely, if it'll zoom in, you can see kind of like that almost honeycomb-esque pattern. And that is, each of those is an individual flower or floret, and they will produce one seed each. So there's probably about, I don't know, maybe 200 little florets here on this flower. And then, you know, if this flower gets lucky and like all of these get pollinated, that's all going to turn into each flower is going to produce a single seed or achene. And then it'll get scattered along the dune habitat, propagating the species, which this so the Lake Huron Dune Tansy is actually a subspecies of just the Dune Tansy. And in the state of Michigan, where it's native to. It's protected. I don't know if it's protected, threatened, or like special concern. I'll throw that information up on the screen. But this is, like I said, a subspecies of just the regular dune tansy. And you only really find it in the northern tip of the lower peninsula of Michigan and the eastern half of the upper peninsula of Michigan along the banks of Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, and Lake Superior. You don't get this, you know, basically you don't get this anywhere south of Traverse City. But it is just a gorgeous plant. It smells really nice. It looks pretty. And then down here you can actually see the flowering structures from last year. If I can zoom in on them. Yeah, you can see this one right here, kind of how it's breaking apart. So each of these things that I'm like peeling off, those are the seeds. And like I said, they just get scattered into the sand here. You know, if they're lucky, they'll germinate and produce a new plant. I'm not too sure what the germination rate is or the fertilization rate of this plant is, but given the amount of, you know, seeds it produces from like one floral head, it's probably not that high. And the fact that the state of Michigan is kind of concerned about this species' survival makes me think that there might be something else going on. But yeah, glad to see I'm glad that we got to see it in flower, and you know, hopefully more, I'll see more of these guys in the following years as, you know, new individuals are recruited to the population. You know, it would really suck if for some reason this species went extinct and it would be gone from the landscape, because it's such a cool plant. I love it, and I hope you guys love it too. All right, that's all for this video. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Okay, so real quick before I actually end the video, this is interesting. This right here is also Onithra bianua, something like that. So this species of Onithra is actually biannual. So rather than being perennial or annual, it'll actually live for 2 growing seasons in the summer. And this is what the first growing season looks like. It's kind of got this basal rosette of leaves. And basically what this is doing this year is just photosynthesizing, storing up energy. So next year, it'll look like the adult form that I just showed you, and it'll be able to produce flowers and seed. And then after that, it's gonna die. But because it's produced all the seed, the species continues. And the following season, after the seed, or the following season when the seeds germinate, they're gonna grow or come out of the ground looking like this. All right, now that is actually all that I have for this video today. Talk to you guys later. Bye.